yesterday and reacting to it, going, why are we doing this? Did some research and came across the CDC study that dates back almost 20 years now called flattening the curve. Is that what we're doing? And can you explain why all these closures, the school extensions and all that helps to flatten the curve?
Thank you very much. So the question is about flattening the curve, so to speak. What does that mean? It means that as a disease, particularly a novel viral disease, as we see, and we see in other parts of the world, has the capacity to spread very rapidly through a population. It's called novel because no population has pre-existing immunity to it, and pretty much everyone is susceptible. So the basic strategy is to make sure that we slow down the progression of that infection as much as we possibly can in absolutely every community in Texas. And so that's why the things that we're talking about are so important. I would like to also add that the things that have been done in terms of closing, I think we should put that in perspective. Many of the things that have closed are things that are, if you will, optional. They're leisure activities. We can afford to do without them when we're facing a serious situation such as we are now. And I think that there's great wisdom behind that. We do really want that decision to be made at a local level, but as far as the concept, there's some merit to that. The other point I'd like to make is that people need to understand that in order to protect themselves from COVID-19, they have to make sure that their neighbors and their friends and their coworkers can protect themselves against COVID-19 as well. We're really all in this together. If folks do what we're asking them to do, absolutely, we will flatten that curve.
Not specifically. It gives us flexibility to address any issue that may come up. No. Well, we'll have to take a look at it. Here's the deal, and that is, for example, locally, pretty much the only type of governmental entity that would be affected would be a hospital district, and they weren't subject to having the rollback rate changed. And so for the other jurisdictions, their resources are not perceivably going to be taxed right now for these reasons. We have already received millions of dollars from the federal government already in our hands that we will be parceling out to various local communities to respond to this. In addition to that, as we speak, Congress continues to work on additional programs that could provide additional funding. And so right now, there are no unmet financial needs at the local level. We'll see what happens. Say it again? Traveling during spring break. Listen, it depends on where you're traveling to. Of course, with what the president has announced and what seems to be obvious, and that is it would be potentially not a good idea to travel internationally. Within the United States, you just need to be smart about what your travel is. Everyone needs to take their own personal responsibility for their health as it concerns the travel. Do they need to travel? What type of environment are they traveling into? Are they traveling into a COVID hotspot? Are they traveling to an area where there is no indication of COVID whatsoever? And so there's a lot of different issues that each person needs to make a decision about.
Last question, Bob Garrett. Bob Garrett, last question. Sending people home after they're tested. If you look at all of what China is doing, which testing on the streets for temperature, white blood cells, and CAT scans, and then taking them to arenas and stadiums to quarantine. I know there's difficulties with that under our Bill of Rights, but if you look at that at all, because that's a real flat.
Right. So what we do is we look at this along a spectrum, if you would, about where we are and where we may go. Obviously, with the number of people who have tested positive in Texas right now, there's no reason for anything like that. We will obviously adjust what a response is based upon the number of people who test positive.
Thanks, guys. We gotta go. Appreciate it.
Number of test kits in Texas?
Okay, we've been listening into a briefing from Austin. Governor Abbott declaring a state disaster for all of Texas. He said that declaration will allow for the rapid mobilization of all state resources needed to deal with the coronavirus in every Texas county. He said, quote, "We are building on the state's previous experience dealing with infectious disease response." There was a lot of talk about testing. Testing is being ramped up in the state of Texas. Efforts are underway to increase the state's capacity along those lines. The governor said, throwing out a few numbers, Texas currently has 39 confirmed cases of coronavirus, and he said that 75 Texans are currently being tested. We'll, of course, have a lot more on the governor's remarks on Fox 4 News at 5. We know we are running a little long on our noon newscast today, but we also have rainfall moving through a good portion of North Texas. Let's check in with